What's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with a brand new LEGO Customs video based on an anime, and today we're going with one of my all-time favorites and one of the anime that you guys suggested most on the last episode, and this is going to be Full Metal Alchemist. More specifically, Brotherhood, because it's just far superior than the regular Full Metal Alchemist. Now, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive on in. Don't forget to leave a like and leave a suggestion for which is your favorite of the designs that we're going to look at. Plus, of course, let me know in the comment section below what other anime should we design a character from. So with that all in mind, let's get rocking. Alright guys, so here we go. Our first character that we're going to take a look at is going to be RIZA HAWKEYE, looking absolutely epic. I think this design turned out very cool. Obviously, as you can see, she has the classic style pistol available and has her really cool kind of army military outfit, looking absolutely epic. I'm really happy with the way that this design turned out. I think that she actually turned out as one of the most accurate of all the designs that we have put together here today. Fortunately enough, obviously the kind of army-based characters are somewhat similar, so I got creative and I did go on ahead and obviously design them to be a little bit more unique. So you'll see as we go through all the different characters that we all love from the Full Metal Alchemist universe, we will see some variations in this typical kind of attire, but I felt like a nice way to kick things off is with the most obvious look for RIZA HAWKEYE. And with that in mind, let's get rocking rolling. To the next one we go. Next up, we've got the Flame Alchemist himself. It is the one and only MUSTANG. So as you can see, he does have his pretty epic attire, rocking and rolling, kind of going for that trench coat sort of look. And I decided to go on ahead and obviously give this character the flaming hand effect, so that obviously we portray that whole idea of him activating flames. And I think that that actually does look really cool. I think one of the most difficult aspects of this character to capture was to go on ahead and actually include the proper hairstyle, because his haircut in the show it's like super specific and there really isn't anything that fits perfectly. So I try to capture something that maybe gets as close as possible. Other than that though, he doesn't have any identifiable other features, whether it be like, let's say, a beard or a mustache or some sort of scar or something like that. Wink wink, nudge nudge, about future characters that we're going to look at. But I wanted to go on ahead and at least interpret some of the other key elements, whether it be the white gloves that he wears or the flames that he has, to make sure that they are present. And obviously, look at this pretty cool dynamic duo here of RIZA and MUSTANG, looking pretty epic indeed. So with that in mind, let's move right along to our next character. Next up, ladies and gents, it is the one and only King Bradley, and I decided to go on for the kind of unvested or untrench coated look, where he's just got the white shirt, the two swords, the epic mustache, and of course that epic eye patch, looking super duper cool. The only thing that I am unhappy about with this character is that in order to make the t-shirt design look accurate, or the shirt, kind of dress shirt look accurate, the problem with that is that got a big giant Joker logo on his back. So obviously that is something that wasn't present on the show, but we had to obviously sacrifice some elements because unfortunately I don't have complete control over the customizer in this game. So there will obviously be some elements that are not perfect, but I'm still very happy with the way that this particular design turned out of the one, the only King Bradley. And so, with that in mind, let's transition onwards and forwards to our next character. Next up, we have Jean HAVOC. Looking pretty stylish indeed. Obviously, as you can see, we went for that similar military outfit that so many of the characters in the show wear, but I did decide to go on ahead and add the patches or shoulder pads over to the sides of the shoulders to give him that kind of almost like military rank element of the outfit to be present. And typically in the show and in the manga, he typically uses a rifle, so that's obviously why we went ahead and included that as his weapon of choice. Other than that though, just went for a bit of a more mature look, I guess, for the characters to make sure that he looks a little bit older than some of the other characters that we have seen so far. You've got the rifle, as I mentioned before, and the outfit is almost exactly the same, I think, as we went with for Roy Mustang, because obviously, again, they kind of wear similar attire, all the different characters in the military. That's why I mixed it up within those characters to try to make sure and we get a few more varied looks. With that in mind, though, that is Gene HAVOC. All right, so we have now roughly made our way through around half, or the halfway point of our showcases. So why don't we take a look at one of our main heroes, and that would be the one and only Edward Elric. So as you can see, I have managed to go on ahead and capture that trench coat look. I did go on ahead and include the electric, or I guess the magical or summoning effects that typically whenever he goes for the alchemical like summons, I guess, and builds and everything, he usually has kind of that lightning effect going all around. So I thought that that would be a really cool inclusion for this particular character. And for those of you that want to see a battle damage look, don't worry, that is coming up or coming down the line. But this is our basic or base set of Edward Elric. The only component that is kind of missing on this one is really twofold. One, the hair is obviously not perfect, but it is pretty close. He's supposed to have this really long ponytail with some of the hair also going on the front. So I think we captured that quite well. The only thing that is missing is, of course, the fact that he's supposed to be wearing a black shirt underneath the red trench coat instead of that kind of brown attire that we have there. But I still managed to try to go on ahead and get at least the look of the trench coat correctly. And so because of that, I'm still pretty happy with how he turned out. Now, with that in mind, though, it is time to transition to Alphonse Elric. Now, this one was probably the most challenging one to build because you're basically supposed to build a big giant knight character. And to be fair, I think I captured some of the correct elements for this particular design. Like, I think we have some of the right details for the torso, for example. The arms, the legs really do give you kind of an idea of looking at a big giant armored character. The biggest difficulty is obviously the helmet, because you need to try to design something that looks like Alphonse, and he has a very specific look to his helmet, which is obviously quite challenging to do. I still think we did a pretty decent job, all things considered, and we ended up with a pretty fantastic design, especially when you place him right next to Edward. I think the two of them do look pretty cool and pretty dynamic in their Lego form. All right, so this next pick is definitely going to be quite controversial, and this is the character known as Scar. Now, don't get me wrong, am I aware of the fact that his Scar did not look anything like that Scar? Yes. The problem is that there is not many other options in the game in terms of scars. There is a few, like maybe Two-Face if you want to go for that design, but it's going to be like bright blue. So I just felt like this one at least kind of captured the essence of this character to be kind of menacing and uneasy. And other than that, we actually did capture most of the elements, whether it be the coat that he's wearing or the fact that he's got that white kind of band on his left leg. I went ahead and captured that element. I think the hairstyle is absolutely correct to what it should be. So I think that overall, this one actually, apart from the Scar looking inaccurate, I think turned out really, really cool. And it's interesting how well that design transitions from anime or animation form and, of course, hand-drawn form into Lego form. It looks like a really, really cool character design for sure. All right, next up, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some more supporting cast characters. This is, of course, the one and only PINAKO ROCKBELL, one of probably the closest characters to Edward and Alphonse within the context of everything that those two go through. Now, obviously, it would have been awesome if there was a way to try to make this character seem a little bit shorter. Same would apply to, obviously, Edward. But there is no option to like do a smaller scale character because obviously she's supposed to be a tad bit shorter than some of the other characters in the game. And I wish that there was a way to kind of include the apron sort of thing that she's wearing. Other than that, like the design is actually pretty simplistic. She has like sort of like brownish shoes, and then the rest of her attire is mostly kind of almost military green with that white apron above. But there was no way to capture that, so the only way to try to replicate it to the best of our ability was to go this route of going with kind of an overalls look, just to at least capture the right form and shape of her attire there. So I think it still looks pretty decent, but this is definitely not one of the best designs that we'll be looking at here today. Now, transitioning from one ROCKBELL character to another, this is WINRY ROCKBELL, and I think this one is actually one of the best designs that we have here in the game. We've got the wrench included, we've got her attire pretty close to what she actually wears in the show, and I did go on ahead and go with kind of more of a scuffed up look, because obviously she's a mechanic, so she's constantly fixing things, and she's much more likely to be, you know, dirty or things like that. So I think that that is a really cool look for the character. She does share the exact same hairstyle as the one that we chose for Edward, if you haven't noticed, but it's just mostly due to the fact that there weren't really many other options where you have kind of the hair facing forwards and then a longer bit of hair on the back. So we kind of had to go with this particular look. I wish there was kind of the look that she has with the bandana, but unfortunately there's nothing like that in this game. So this really was kind of the closest that we were going to get to this particular character, and even managed to capture the leather gloves that she wears. So that's kind of cool as well. So getting back on track with some of our more military themed characters, this is MAES HUGHES. So you can see that for this one, there are a few key elements that we can go on ahead and capture, whether it be the kind of light stubble that he has, or the fact that he has those kind of square-ish, well, I guess they're not square, more rectangular based glasses. So we managed to capture those elements. Aside from that, again, a lot of the characters really share very similar attires, so because of that, there is going to be some overlap in that sense. On one hand, it makes it easier to build these characters. On the other hand, I really have to get creative about what we do with the characters to make sure that they feel unique and fresh. Did you guys think that I forgot about Major Armstrong? Of course I didn't! So we went for the obviously shirtless sort of look that we see him battling Scar with. So you've got the epic mustache. Unfortunately, there is no specific haircut that would apply to him, so we kind of just had to go for the bald look. The leg pieces are pretty much the same as we've seen for many other characters. The top part is blue, and then the black boots with a black belt design. Other than that, he does have gloves that he wears, and of course, that absolutely ridiculously epic mustache. So there he is, Major Armstrong. And then, as I promised you guys, the last look, we go from regular Ed, which is this design right here, to our variation for this particular character, which is going to be the battle damaged version, where we reveal some of the elements as to why he is called the Full Metal Alchemist. We have, of course, as you can see, the metal arm included in this particular look. Still wearing the white glove over on the other side. Got the black design for the rest of his costume. Again, here you can kind of pick and choose what you want to go with. You could go with maybe a torn up shirt design, or maybe a design where part of his metal leg is exposed as well. So it really just depends on how far of a battle damage look you want to go with to try to capture that element. And so with all that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let me know which of these designs was your personal favorite. We've taken a look at 12 different character designs based on Full Metal Alchemist here today. I know that a lot of you guys have been asking for possibly one of these videos based on One Piece or maybe and My Hero Academia. So that is something that is definitely going to be coming down the pipeline, and I hope that you guys will check that out. Of course, if you don't want to miss out on those uploads, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button on this video and the subscription. Make sure you got your notifications turned on. And of course, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I will hopefully catch you all here next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Oh, and one more thing that I did want to go on ahead and mention is, of course, if you guys would like to go on ahead and join the channel to support the channel, of course, for those of you that become members of the channel, you will get a badge next to your name. You do get exclusive perks like priority in sub matches during streams, priority during custom matches, access to exclusive channels on the Discord server, as well as exclusive emotes. And so with that in mind, of course, in addition to that, you can always grab some Blitzwinger merch if you want to support the channel and represent the Blitz Army. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.